I'll just mute myself when I'm talking.
Oh yeah, that's the way
There
to
you
do
go.
it.
To be fair, you seem to be muted half the time when you're talking anyway.
Oh!
I tried.
Do. Hey, welcome back.
Oh, we're live for that.
Of course we were.
I'm trying to be considerate, damn it.
Nah,
He-
you can't be consistent.
Ian with the zingers.
All right, cool. So, you three, really only two of you, really only one of you, climb up the strut. There is so from against there, you're up against the stone wall, about 10 feet. There's a sort of like lip, and then about 10 feet along that is the closest window. It is of a size that you guys can get in. It's pretty narrow, as you can imagine a Gothic window would, and it is glass paned. But, you know, you'd have to get closer to it to see if you could open it or break it or anything like that.
I mean, I'm more than willing to just break it, but I imagine Vale is a bit more subtle.
So Vale is sort of in front, so I imagine he has the say on what's going on. And I said it's windy. Now that you're actually up against the spire, it's not so much windy. It's just sort of when you were in the suspended, like all the snow and wind that has nowhere else to go is kind of like on you.
Yeah, let's have a little look at this Windows mechanism then.
You're gonna have to sidle up over to it, so you're gonna have to have an acrobatics roll.
I will do that. Fail.
Go
I
on.
didn't fail.
And then it looks like you could break it open in theory. It's definitely not designed to open from this side, but you've heard that before.
Right, so it's a dagger jobby.
Yeah.
Let's sleight of hand with the old dagger.
Sleight of hand. I mean, if you also totally can use thieves' tools on this. You have thieves' tools, don't you?
I will thieves tool.
This is a thieves' duelable situation.
Sweet.
Unless sleight of hand is better for you because of expertise, but like.
It's not. I was
yeah,
just.
thieves'
But
tools.
that's fine. I will thieves tool it.
So it's one of those things. It's not designed to open this side. You sort of jam, like I said, you jam your dagger, and then also, you know, you have sort of a tool that's meant to like flick the latch on the other side. You sort of like wedge and work and stuff. While I add, you're like suspended by your tiptoes on a ledge.
I've got Haven, who's like, I'm getting a bit of tension from the rope, which
Yeah.
means that I can let go with both hands.
But it's one of the things you just don't quite get it after like the first couple of minutes of trying. Feel free to try again.
Meanwhile, Ollie is rolling to see if anyone notices.
If they were really quick.
Right. Let's have crack number 2. This time we'll be a bit more vicious.
What's wrong, Scott?
While he's doing that, I actually want to like place my ear against the stone to see if I can listen for anybody that might
Give
be
me a
coming
perception
by.
check.
Yeah, remind you, I have my Underdark Scout trying to locate by vibration or echo.
What does that give
That's
you?
one of my advantages.
He's a bat.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't know if it was advantage or not. Then yeah, you do absolutely have advantage for that. I was going to say, what do you expect to get? But you can hear through stone. Like,
Well, you
literally.
press my ear against it, kind of like Aragorn with his ear to the rock as the orcs are running, sort of a thing.
Yeah, no, I totally get
They
what
are
you mean.
coming.
Scott, there, hi.
Damn it! Why does it always say Salny? Die,
Because you
Salny,
keep,
die.
I think you keep logging out in such a weird way.
No, it's because your display name is still Salny.
Oh,
No,
is
he
it?
changes it. But
No,
he changes
yeah,
it each
right.
week.
No, you're
the,
right.
The
Oh.
as character is always an option you have
Oh,
to change.
yeah. He's doing
No,
it the
you were
bad way.
completely correct, sir. Thank you for that. I've been stupid this whole time.
Wow.
I consistently failed. It's consistent though.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I loosened it up. It's like a jar. You know, I loosened it first time.
All right. Again, it's one of those things you're rattling it, and it's like you're weakening the mechanisms inside each time. You've come to figure that this window actually probably has never really been opened since it was installed, and you have no idea when that was because it looks newer than everything else, like the actual window fitting. But you're weakening it and jamming it, and eventually you're just going to brute force the damn thing. Haven, you hear through. You don't hear anything on the other side at all. Go ahead and give me another thieves' tools, and
I don't think anybody's coming. Do you want me to break the window?
and another perception haven.
Yep. You were saying something?
Haven, he's gonna reach into his pack and pull out a crowbar. I can't get the window. Pop
So
it
it's-
open.
Instead of perception, do that, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Vale, give me the perception instead.
Crowbar, does crowbar give you advantage on the strength check?
You know what?
Yep, it does.
Good.
I thought so.
I thought so too.
It's a flat strength, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yes! Oh! When does that happen?
That's so
When does that happen? What are the odds of that? Oh my god!
Okay, so here's what happens.
I love that it was for something so stupid.
It's one of those things you don't want to fail for this too long. You got an hour until you de-stick and fall. You wedge the crowbar in. You're like, you just wedge the window open and use the momentum to go through. Vale, what you see on the other side. You look out. You're sort of like, You see the other rook. The other rook is just cross-armed, watching you. On the same platform he was. He hasn't gone any close to you. But you actually just sort of like see the glimmer of this guy's eyes. And then he kind of like looks, seeing Haven go in. He just like sort of nods to himself. And turns the other way. Remember, Haven is disguised as rook.
Okay, I'll just follow Haven
And
into
then you
the
can just
window.
squeeze in. No rolls for that. And then where you go inside into a storeroom. There's something pretty strange about these storerooms in that they don't seem like they were intended to be storerooms. There's it almost looks like you're in this room and it's very nondescript and there's archways like the others. And there's some barrels of food, but it's mostly set pieces like painted wooden facades of trees, or like there's a wooden facade of a castle with multiple layers and like the frames and stuff. That's mostly what's down here, theater stuff. But as you sort of look around, which I imagine you do, it's made up of lots of individual rooms, whereas the storeroom probably would just be one big chamber with pillars or something. If you make it down here, doesn't look like anyone else is down here. Now that you're actually in here, you do hear movement up above, where you figure you figure you're actually under the ballroom, which you know is being set up for tomorrow's ball, which is tomorrow night. So that's what you figure you hear.
Melody skitters out, still as a mouse, skitters out of Haven's pocket and up onto Vale's shoulder. As Vale has spent enough time around her in wild shape to know that she generally doesn't come out of wild shape once she's changed until she either runs out of magic or is requested to do so.
Yeah.
She will stay like that unless you ask her to come out.
Well, that worked well. Haven, keep the crowbar for now.
I was imagining that. I was imagining you like, oh, I'm glad we're on the same boat there.
It's where he fumbles it and like
are you
we've
happy
made this.
or are you scared?
I'm happy.
Okay.
If it's
Made
a cool
this-
thing, if
made
it's a
this
weird thing, then
good-
I'm scared.
Entrance, and then he just drops his crowbar.
Do you
on
close the
floor and it
window
just
behind you?
Haven, can you lead the way to the key?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know which way is which for where we're going. So just kind of give me some direction. And I'll start forward. Mind you, my staff is spear. What does that look like right now? These guys carry spears, don't they?
They could. You could have made it look a little more. You could have changed it into dark iron. You could have changed that to any appearance you want, as long as it's sort of speary. Some of them should look spears. Most of them you've seen using bows most of the time. But like, as you know, it doesn't really matter.
It's a legit illusion, not a transformation. So do I make it look like a bow, or?
You could make it look like a bow if you want.
Okay, cool. So that wouldn't matter? Just because I'm carrying it in my hand.
So so that's why it would
normal.
work, because you have the point you're carrying, even though like you might accidentally bump the end that is invisible into things. But like you're level 5, that's not going to happen. But
I'll lead the way.
Sure. And actually, there's no light down here, but all of you have dark vision right now. I assume mice have dark vision.
I assume mice have dark vision as well. Not
Doesn't
looked
matter
up,
anyway.
but-
Yeah.
I don't know. So for us navigating, is this one of those things where Veil or Melody's better for it?
Depends how you're trying to do it.
I don't know where we're
If you're just sort of stumbling through doorways and stuff and trying to get around, then sure. But it seems sort of
But I'm the
maze-like down
best.
here.
Yeah,
Stumbling
none
through
of us-
somewhere stupidly. That's me.
Yeah,
We're
no one.
underground.
No,
It depends
direct.
how you're gonna do it, really. And there's multiple ways.
All right. So, do we have a direction, or are we just gonna open all the
You
doors?
know that the ballroom.
We came in on this side.
You basically, the ballroom was behind the foyer area you were in before. So if you're under the ballroom, it would be that way of you. It would be of your left, essentially, from you entering this place. I know that's a terrible way to describe it, but you know
Yeah.
the rough direction,
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
you're
side
going
of
on-
the building you need to go
You're
on.
going on. This
Yeah.
is
That
the
way.
entrance to the courtyard. That's
Yeah,
where
exactly.
the foyer was.
Exactly.
That's the way.
And you
we
can actually go
came
under
in.
the courtyard from down
Therefore-
here as well.
I mean,
which is another
I
thing.
always know north and stuff like that, so I'm not
Yeah,
worried
yeah.
about that. But
Yeah,
okay,
so
cool.
you know the rough direction of. I'm assuming you're heading towards the foyer because that's where the book was.
Yep.
Great. So
Okay.
you can head that rough direction. Of course, you don't have to do any roll now. It's one of those things. You head that way. You look for an appropriate doorway, which you find.
I think we will be stealthing when we
when you
get
find like
to-
a door.
Yeah, when we
You
get
say we. Only one person stealthing.
He's the rook right now.
Yeah, I'm a rook and she's a mouse. Only you're sneaky.
You because you
Oh, yeah.
should stealth.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah,
belong here.
I will stealth.
All right, cool. Then kind of
You can be a
going in
stealth
that
roll.
direction, but I will listen to see if they have anything. Any
I was gonna say,
direction,
give me a
just go.
perception check to. Oh, give me a perception check in general. Because
When do you want me to roll the old stealth?
stealth it now? Because I
Yeah.
imagine right now, as you sort of get to that door, you go.
Yeah, sure.
You sort of get into shadows and you follow behind him a couple of paces and stuff like that. Not your best work, Vale. Not
I've
your
been
best
rolling
work.
well. Cut me some
Oh.
slack.
Melody, low-key object. Oh, I told you we should have brought the wizard.
Yeah, if we'd have waited an extra night to do it, I would have had the perfect list of spells prepped, but I didn't have it prepped, so
You always do the heist the day after for that reason.
yeah.
But this is an impromptu heist, which is more fun because more things will go wrong. But then you have disguise self, so that you're
We'll
kind
see.
of here legally, which is kind of no. So
Well, I'm sorry.
you head up this walkway, which is sort of a little bit of a spiral staircase, a bit narrow. Vale is stealthing a little bit behind, and Melody's on Rook's shoulder.
Dale's shoulder.
Oh, Vale's shoulder in stealth.
Yeah.
Great. You head up this way, and it does head up into the college. You figure, Haven, that you are sort of in the areas between the foyer and the ballroom, where the foyer had all these stairways upwards. So most of the college is upstairs in various different ways. This is sort of another area where, you know, a dense building like this has lots of stairways to and fro. It's one of those places where sort of all the stairways kind of meet, and also entrance to the foyer, entrance to the ballroom. As you enter, it's late. There are some people about. In fact, the people you notice are wearing full lime green robes. Actually, their faces are also covered by almost like a mask made of cloth. Almost like a balaclava, but it doesn't wrap around, it just sort of hangs. And hoods, and they're carrying things. They're carrying all manner of things like stage works and stuff. And actually, like you see, the one in front of you is carrying a cello, and it does seem to acknowledge your presence.
Cool. I ignore the acknowledgement and keep going.
Towards the foyer again.
Yeah.
Cool. As you go into the doorway of the foyer, which would be an open...
Please correct me if I'm wrong, just so I don't screw this up with the quick things that I say.
Mhm.
I don't have to acknowledge these people because I'm like of semi-significant.
They
so-
didn't acknowledge you.
They
either.
didn't acknowledge you either. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
they say it does acknowledge.
They
Either
don't-
way, keep
they,
going.
they completely ignore you. But like a rook
Okay,
is an
cool.
important person, but like you can be like, I have the authority to be here. I'm on city business. Like that's.
Cool. Just
But
keep
these
going.
people just don't even acknowledge. Like you just walk out and they're like, you don't walk in their way, they don't get in your way. You walk into the doorway of the foyer. It's basically the same as you were there. There's a couple of people milling about. There's some people heading clearly from a tavern through the foyer, like students going up to their dorms further up in the tavern. The place. There is a different receptionist at the desk. a male tiefling who is sort of doing all the paperwork for the evening, cleaning everything up. Clearly not many people go in here. Those people say, keep it down, some people are trying to sleep. The two, the group of people who are coming in drunk late at night. That sort of thing. Ignoring the fact that, like, there's a whole bunch of clattering coming from the ballroom because they're preparing for it. Because, you know, you got to yell at the students.
Presumably, I would have seen and probably remembered where the key was put.
The key was put in a drawer in the desk at the foyer. So imagine that there's all of these foyers, because you went to College of Necromancy as well, basically have a desk. Usually there's also by that desk a sort of staff-only area that goes upstairs, which from the way you enter, because you kind of enter from the back, you have full access to the desk and that staff-only area. It was put in a drawer in a desk.
But I wouldn't know which drawer because I couldn't.
No, you just saw the.
Okay.
But at the same time, that's enough of a secure. That's not, unless you want to do something really fast. That's good enough, you know.
No, I'm also curious. This is going to sound a bit of a strange question. These drawers of a type with like a hat, with like they're solid rather than.
You're not right next to them right now.
Okay, right, sure.
You're even further back. Remember, like
no. That's
Haven's
fine.
just in the doorway, and it's one of those things where no one has noticed you yet because you're actually moving pretty quietly. It's almost like you had if there was a passive stealth. I guess their passive perception isn't to notice you, like, sort of.
You're blending.
You're blending. The people that do see you don't really care.
I'm moving off of Vale's shoulder. I'm like still on Vale's person somewhere, but I don't want to be just in case he gets spotted.
We'll add that, like, not in this sort of stairway room, but in the foyer, there's statues and plants and lots of places. There's even like a fountain. You know, there's places
I'm
to
gonna go like hide somewhere as a mouse, like behind a statue or something. I just don't want to. If Vale gets spotted, because he's the most.
You don't want to be obvious.
I don't want to be with him, basically.
So, like I said, no one seems to notice you yet, Haven, but there's a receptionist at that desk.
Mm-hmm.
There's also actually one of the guards at the desk. There's always one of the guards at the desk, but they're probably just a graduate or something. They're kind of like leaning, they're tired.
Now, here's the fun part, because I, the PC, am not stupid, but he is. What's his name? Haven is. So he goes walking up to them.
I'm not stupid. What's my character's name?
You do that, and the guard sort of like. And like he sort of like adjusts his rapier, like, and then like polishes the sort of the hilt, I guess, a bit. It's like, what is it you require?
I just gesture to the book.
The book isn't on the table.
Yeah, but
the
wherever
desk.
it is. Yeah.
You basically to the desk. The receptionist sort of looks over and is like, what do you need?
I need to look at the book for a moment.
Which book? Now you kind of like look at each other.
Yeah. The one that we're supposed to have. That has the key inside of it.
You don't know what that's called.
Yeah, but they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
Oh, shit. We never found out.
And actually, if you look at the desk right now, there are multiple smaller books and other books on the desk, because it's a desk for the foyer of a college.
The record book for the rooms upstairs.
Oh, you're gonna have to give me a deception with advantage, because you look the part.
Yep.
While he is quite clearly distracting these people, I am skittering in mouse form as close as I can get to like basically the back of the desk without being spotted by anyone.
Give me stealth with advantage.
This is gonna go well.
Because you're a mouse, not a rat.
Yeah. I'll take that.
You sort of say that, and the guard's like, the receptionist sort of hesitates, but puts a hand on one of the drawers, which you can clearly connect is the right one. And the guard's like, "What are you waiting for? No, it's fine." And sort of he pushes the receptionist out of the way a little bit, opens the drawer, takes out, there's a big sort of faded red book. What is it? Is this business I'm not allowed to know about? That's okay. That's okay.
I'm just gonna kind of give like one of those while I'm looking down towards the book. I'm gonna give like not pick up my head, but like lift my eyes a little bit to like look aggravated that he's still talking to me, and then take the book and start opening it up.
So you open it up, and you saw this, but now it's in your hands. It has a lot more pages than it looks like.
Yep.
But you go to where the bookmark is.
I'm gonna go there, though. Honestly, as dumb as he is, he assumes that it might not be the same page anymore. Go ahead.
You go to the bookmark is. Give me give me an investigation roll for the book. It's the easiest way to kind of logic it. Yeah, I know you're not good at it, but you're trying to flick through a magical book. I think
we need one of those nat 20s down here rather than up there.
Yeah. Can I spend an action point?
Wait a minute.
Whoa!
You sort of flick through it, and like a little bit like a blast of magic, kind of like not like a blast, but like a little sparkle of magic goes through as you go like, and like all these pages flick with like a lot of names, and you like stop. You don't recognize any. You actually don't read this language.
Yep, I know.
And you go. And then you realize that you don't read the language, and then
I'm gonna stop after like a little bit of time of flipping through it and be like, and because I'm actually aggravated, so I don't need to pretend. I'd be like, there was a group. They were trying to get in here with a key. Where were they trying to go? And I slide the book back over.
The receptionist sort of goes, oh, but the person on the previous shift mentioned that they were they had an old key for one of the really, really old rooms, and the key, well, they gave the key back, and we've we had to it was removed. It was in this desk, but it was removed by the Archmage Sparrow earlier today when she came through. Not long ago, actually, when we were changing the shift. She just said.
Did she have that one with her?
What one? Oh. No, she was alone. There was a flurry of people, I'm sorry.
This is a suspicious group, he says. So I imagine saying the word suspicious was... this is a suspicious group. She took the key. What was the room number?
He kind of goes and opens the book. I actually have to see if I have this written down somewhere. Surely I do, right?
256.
Wait a minute. That's just Scott's favorite page in the player's handbook.
It's actually 231.
Damn it, I was so close.
Which he was pretty close. And then again, opens the book and like looks and
You
like...
muted it.
256 is the page that begins locate animals or plants for spell.
Oh, close.
Well, I'm into bestiality and dendrophilia. What can I say?
He goes through the book and goes, the belong to Lana Foxglove, 231. It's up there and points to like the biggest stairwell.
I'm going to turn away and then turn back and say, if any of these group return, make sure you inform Sparrow immediately, Archmage Sparrow immediately.
They nod and sort of. Okay. This isn't really a bowing place, but it's sort of a nod.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure that's kind of semi-routine now that they've heard it too. And then I'll turn and just start walking away.
I assume I heard all of that.
You heard all of that. You were right there. I said with your space, your stealth, you basically went behind him because he got the book and everything. There was no.
I'm skittering back to Vale.
Great. Yeah. Vale, even with his perception, does hear that as well. Like.
I don't know where Haven's heading, but I'd start heading towards that stairwell.
Sure.
Surely, if that's the way to the
Haven,
room.
are you going up the stairwell or back the way you came?
The way to the room.
Cool.
Jinx.
As you're going up, the guard sort of goes, "Oh, I need a drink." Hey, you there! And sort of draws the rapier and walks over to Vale and sort of. I imagine Vale is like there's these potted plants and Vale is like mid-creep past one. And he goes, hey, and like moves some of the leaves away. Hey, you there. What are you doing here? You're not a student.
As soon as I hear that voice, I abandon Vale and go up to
give me another stealth roll. So because you don't get seen skidding away from this.
With advantage again?
Yeah.
Please roll a 1.
So you're not alone.
I mean,
you actually no. This is a perception check, isn't it? Yeah, you're good. He sort of goes and goes.
Do I notice the mouse come up to me?
Yes, you also hear this,
cool.
and he goes, Master Rook, this is one of the individuals. They said there was a golden-skinned elf.
I wasn't here earlier.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So he wouldn't yell up to Haven. He would just go, what are you doing here? A thief? Look at that. Look at those clothing. You're clearly some sort of thief.
No. I'm the gardener. The Archmage Sparrow thought it would be funny to have a non-mage tend the plants. I know.
I'm gonna walk over and give him like a rap in the side of the head, and be like, "Quiet. He's not a gardener. He's a liar, and he's the one that turned on the rest. Come with me and do your job. You'll get your gold." And then I'll start like walking past it up the hill.
Give me
up the
a
stairs.
deception check with advantage.
Sure.
Good move. The guard sort of is wary at that, but does lower the rapier and then eventually sort of tuck it back on the loop of his the sash, and just sort of nods, and kind of gives Vale just a look of disgust before turning away. And you're getting a look of disgust from a tiefling.
I'll give him a nice wink.
That's a disgusting looking look of disgust.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like wait a minute, this isn't meant to be in reverse. And then you can head upstairs towards the rooms. Now, that stairwell doesn't go directly to the rooms, but it's one of those things where it's easy enough to figure out where the rooms are. It would also be signposted, not in the language you understand, but you'd be able to follow when you eventually see like the numbers and stuff. You figure it out. I'm not gonna say you struggle around trying to go around to college at night. Also, the rooms are where most of the activity is at this time of night. Aside from when you get out of there. When you go to the dorms, it is halls and halls of narrow halls with lots of doors side by side, literally side by side of numbers. And you go until you find 231.
Vale, do you stay hidden now, or because you got wrapped in the side of the head and like kind of like called as a member of mine? Are
He's
you
just
following
you now? Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those
cool.
things when you're here, you do hear the murmurings of an evening, but not like loud partying or anything. You just hear some people up having conversations, and you hear more like scribing, like the sound of paper and quill than anything else.
Okay. So we just keep going to 231
You find
until we get there.
231. Vale immediately notices that unlike the others, this door, it's just sort of the way like dust is caked around the door, and like these doors are an old light stone, and the rest like this door has actually not been opened for a long time.
Okay. I know Vale has to do his thing, and maybe Melody has a spell or two that can help us here. But I'm going to use my stone cutting to try to like identify the stone to see if there's any weaknesses to it, and then once again try to listen through the stone. See, I know it's probably difficult because of the. I mean,
is there a gap under this door?
No.
Ooh.
Not like mice can squeeze into incredibly tiny spaces like the gap under a door, but like I'm saying like even less than that.
Okay, fair enough.
Like almost none.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So you're gonna become a cockroach.
I could become a cockroach.
Woo!
Even
There you
then,
go.
that would actually you still have to do a roll as a cockroach.
An
Unfortunately.
ant.
Right.
And an ant. We can keep getting smaller. A mite.
But yeah. Go ahead and give me whatever your stone crafting, stonemanship is.
What skill do you want me to roll for that? It's up to you.
Wisdom of the earth.
I am thinking it's a wisdom, but what kind of wisdom? Nature.
Just flat. Yeah, you can do nature's intelligence. You can do flat wisdom or survival.
I'd say flat wisdom for now.
Okay.
Nature would be. Oh, nature's the knowledge of nature, of course.
Okay. And then the perception one, just so I can get those out of the way, and then hopefully Melody has softened earth and stone or something. Okay. I was hoping.
Well, certainly not. I'm looking at my prepared spells at the moment. I have nothing useful for this.
So it's one of those things as you sort of look over the
Classic
door and move
melody.
your hands over it and listen to it, Haven, you take a private, intimate moment with the door. You actually
Ow.
hear.
Wow.
It's more you smell.
Wow.
You smell. Smells like Amelia.
Oh,
Heyo.
no, that's weird.
It's just a little bit. Just a whiff, and you figured out.
Out of all of us, she's the cleanest and probably smells the best. So
That's true. There's actually some sort of warding on this door, because if you think about, and then you sort of go back and think about it. I mean, maybe actually Haven doesn't come to this conclusion. Never mind, he's dumb. He's dumb as dick.
huh?
But you figure out there's some kind of arcane warding on the door. The stone itself is not special, but it is also incredibly old. Like really, really old.
Okay. Well, this is some old stone, but I'm sure we probably, all thought that. And do I hear anything on the inside?
Nope.
No movement?
You hear things from nearby rooms, but nothing in there.
I don't think there's anything alive in there. And kind of like rubbing my finger on the dust, which again, I'm sure everybody saw. I don't think it's opened in a long time either. And I'll just kind of like, pull out the crowbar slightly, so it's just barely in view for Vale, and be like, huh?
I wasn't really planning on opening the door without Gil. No, his mother's treasure is supposed to be in there. Not to mention, we are in a college of wizards, and if they have been unable to open the door for a long time, perhaps we would not be able to as well. Or they just simply don't care.
Maybe it's not because they can't. Maybe it's because they won't.
Maybe.
Melody squeaks something, forgetting that she's a mouse and can't talk to them.
So we're not going in?
I don't know. I mean, you haven't seen Gil. He gets so stroppy. He's like he's worse than me when I was younger, Pouty.
Worse than you are now?
Sulky. Everything. Vale just ignores. I'm worried that he might get a little bit upset if we open the door to his mother's treasure.
Is this an interior room or an exterior? Because it's a tower, so...
It is an interior room to an interior room. You're in like a layer of the tower.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
It's a valid... You can ask this question just about everywhere in the city, though, and it would be a valid question.
Do we know what... did we walk by any windows to get here on this floor?
Yes, by the stairs. So the stairs sort of are on a outer sort of bubble, if that makes sense, like an outer shape. And they have windows. They have actually very dramatic, large windows that have stained glass, though there's no real, like the outside, there's no real design on them, it's just pretty colours. There's a stained glass there, but of course there's no way to walk to that window. You'd have to, like, jump to that window, because the stairwell is sort of, or fall.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Because I wanted to, like, reach out the window for a second.
You'd have to, it would be a break out, climb along.
I'm going to make my way over there with the intention of looking for that and maybe doing something, and let them two stare at the door for a little bit.
Give me a perception check, Haven.
Oh, sure.
So does this door have a keyhole or anything?
Yes. It doesn't have a handle, only a keyhole.
Can a mouse fit through a keyhole? Probably not.
Not a magic
one.
one.
No, because what size, what, let me get the mouse out.
I have no idea how big a mouse is.
I mean, this is an old school key, right? Not like a modern day key.
Old
Cockroach
school key. If you're
Amelia,
an
you're
animal can
muted.
squeeze into a size, they're one size smaller. So a
Yeah.
tiny creature can go into a teeny.
Yeah, exactly.
The word's diminutive.
That's it. Which how
And then
big is
small, that's
diminutive?
fine.
Like less than a centimeter.
It's diminutive is up to 6 inches,
Wow.
and then fine is up to 1 inch, if I remember
So
correctly.
if you could squeeze into a fine, then sure.
But that's old. That's old mechanics.
yeah,
Those don't
I think it's
exist in
slightly
5e.
different because of the way they done size. But
They,
basically,
they just don't go smaller than
Well,
tiny.
I mean, if it's
Go ahead.
a small mouse is what?
Yeah, exactly. You're a
Not-
mouse, not a rat, which is small.
Yeah.
It's feasibly possible, but you'd have to be held up against it to try. It's possible. You can try.
So,
5, 6 inches.
Melody the mouse, sort of like, because I
Melody the
retain all my
mouse.
intelligence stuff, so I like paw at Vale's neck and like point with a paw towards like the keyhole.
They'll just reflexively just.
So while that's happening, Haven, you notice that Lana's room never touches the outside. So you go out, and there's other hallways down. It's an interior room, like a fully interior. Like there's another room backing it. Actually, then you realize there's another room backing it, and there's 2 rooms side to side it, and maybe a room above it, maybe below it. You don't know what's on the floors up and below, but it never hits the outside.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. That makes sense. So there's no way that we could just like throw a rope out and come up, which is why I was looking for a different window.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you went to the window, sure, maybe the outer rooms have windows, but it's not like the interior room, dorm rooms are connected. There's like 3 hallways of dorm rooms. Each one is, each side has dorm rooms. So it is in that middle one, so it's backed.
It's like
very hard-
centrally located. It's almost one of those things where it's the center of the center of the center.
It's
like,
not in the center.
It's convenient.
But it is
okay. I was
convenient.
gonna say that's convenient.
It's not in the center.
Yeah.
But it is. It's not the middle one. That would be really like. There's some
Yeah.
significance, but it's.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, what is that for? What was going on in there?
No, it's actually like way closer to the. It's like 2 doors from the very
Yeah.
edge,
Yeah.
but it is in the center hallway. It's kind of hard
Gotcha.
to word.
I get what you're saying with
Yeah,
rows and whatnot.
Ian, you can try.
So my. Oh, Ian, you go first because I'm doing something for
This would be
later.
an acrobatic roll for a mouse.
I
What is the dex modifier of a
what's-
mouse?
Yeah, I have no idea what the dex of the mouse is. Sorry, my monster manual is God knows where.
Scott, you might want to help look as well, because I don't actually know if mice are in this.
I just Google orc pub. So hold on.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, mice aren't in here. And rat isn't in here either, so I don't remember what you do for regular rats.
Rat's right here in orc pub. And a rat is tiny size, which makes sense.
Mhm.
Its dex is an 11. So if you're doing a mouse, you imagine it's smaller. So a mouse would, you'd think, because a rat's like a decent size.
Yeah,
a mouse is
I'll
much
give you a
smaller,
+1
right?
to this. Acrobatics +1, so it's a d20 +1. I was going to say you have at least a +1 as a mouse. A dex. My thought process. You squeeze through. You squeeze, like... And this is very weird looking for you, Vale, because there's like this mouse, which you know is Melody. It actually kind of looks like Melody. I imagine it has sort of the green hair sort of thing going on it. It sort of goes, like squishes its face into the keyhole, and like the rest of it sort of bubbles up. And Melody, you sort of squeeze in, and you can squeeze in a bit, but you can never get your full body inside. It's almost like something is stopping you.
Okay, so she.
If there
mouse
wasn't
backs
something,
up.
and it's not a physical thing,
Yeah.
you've actually been around enough magic to know like magical force fields and stuff. You know if it wasn't for this magic, you'd be able to get through it.
Yeah, so she backs out and then just like looks up at Gil, shakes a little mousy head.
Vale,
Looks up at Gil.
Vale, sorry, yeah, Vale.
wherever he may be.
Haven. Melody can't fit through the keyhole for some reason. I'm a little bit perturbed about the thought of leaving here empty-handed, to be honest.
Well, it's one of those things where, so either we're going to be welcome here, right? Because Gil did good, and we're going to come in here no problem. Or Gil was captured, and we're going to have to come in here and not welcome. in case we need to come back in, I had a thought. If you go outside that window, and I just like how it's difficult to get to, and smear some oil on the wall, we might be able to find our way back up here without having to sneak through the inside. We could just scale the outside and get up here easier, especially if Melody's using her magic. Maybe just Melody and Gil can come here with the key, and you and I won't have to worry because we'll just wait down below. And then metagame something to say, because he wouldn't think of this. If Amelia has Featherfall, we can all wait down there, and if they have to get out quickly, they can jump and free fall, and Melody can Featherfall on their way down so that they get down safely too. But I can't think of that stuff because I'm dumb.
Amelia
right.
does not have Featherfall.
So she'll get it.
Right.
It's cheap
It's
stuff.
easy. They're everywhere. Everyone has Featherfall.
Yeah, everywhere.
Letting you know.
I just buy a pillow, Featherfall.
Right. Okay.
Kieran is Featherfall.
This can
We
work.
don't talk of that here.
There's gonna tie rope around his waist.
There's railings on the side of the stairwell you could tie the rope to.
I mean, I was gonna give it to Haven, but sure, yeah, I'll tie it to a rail because
Probably
metal's
more
better than Haven.
reliable than Haven.
Right. Okay. I'm going to jump.
Melody is
then-
transferring to Haven. Just saying.
Wait. Would a pole give you a hug on your birthday?
I've known some lovely Polish people, yes.
Why not?
We call them polarks, but you know.
It might. How to deal with Haven. Yeah.
Is that
gonna-
it might. Maybe. We'll see. Just like questions.
Anything's possible. Yeah, he'll make the jump, and then instead of smearing oil on the outside, he'll hammer a pit on it.
But that's so much louder.
Because bear in mind, you're jumping to a stained glass window.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to jump out. You have to jump across, then get
Jump
out,
across,
then
then
go
get
out.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Fast.
Okay.
If you
So
just spill oil
So
out,
first
that's water
acrobatics to
resistant.
jump to the other side of the window.
bricks are yay thick. Stained glass window is yay thick.
Yep.
So there will be a ledge to jump to.
Yeah, there's a ledge to jump. There's a ledge to land over there for sure. Yep, fine, not a
I'm
problem.
So nearly a 4.
Dexterous.
Hmm.
But looking around, there's no way this window opens.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So bottom right corner. I'm gonna.
If only we had a druid with stuff in earth and stone so we could scoop away up.
I don't think
I'm gonna
Melody
push
has
like-
that.
Push the pitten into the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna break the glass.
Yeah.
Gently
This
tap it to
is
the-
a slight
Oh,
hand
because-
check.
stained glass work. Okay, no. So stained glass works that is set in a metal frame.
Yes.
Yes.
So I will go for a small piece of glass,
You can try
so
to
I can-
chisel.
so I can knock out a small piece of glass that won't make a large noise, because it's surrounded by like a metal frame that big,
Yeah,
and I'll just dunk.
yeah.
Is that a thieves' tool thing?
That's a thieves' tool thing, like
There might be
removing the
glass
glass,
metals in
because
it.
they're like.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the thieves' tool is totally possible of removing glass in this sort of way. And like I said, it's an extravagant sort of geometric, pretty design where that thing totally exists.
Yes! Oh, Vale, I could kiss you, you drow motherfucker.
You do. You knock out this tiny piece of glass,
Lovely.
but not tiny enough that you can see it from below, or you can be like, okay, that's the window that we'd go to. You'd be able to see it from the garden. You can actually look down to the garden. Actually, looking down from here, you actually see the trees below. It would not be a nice jump. It would not be a nice jump. It would not be a nice fall. But you figure if you had to, definitely you, knowing you, could jump down into those trees below. You might still get a little hurt. Other people might at the bottom, taking more damage because they have to go through all the branches. But you definitely also see this possible potential escape route as these large, actually almost elven trees grow, saturated with magic here, directly below this window.
I mean, standing on the ledge, he's gonna turn, shrug to Haven.
And then jump
Best
back.
I can do. And then jump
Yep,
back.
you don't have to do a roll for jumping back. You got a 20, also you got a 22 last time. So you jump back. That's all that done. What's your plan next, friends?
So now at least we have the marker, so we can come back from the outside if need be. That's important. Can he get the glass piece back in so that people don't notice a missing pane?
Well, that's the point.
It's only a small.
Okay.
It's a small, but that's the identifier now.
I'd like to see a wizard make that jump.
But it would be bad if somebody walked by and was like, "Wow, it's really drafty up at the top of a fucking tower." I wonder why. Oh, there's a missing pane. You know.
But
what I'm saying?
also, this is where the students sleep. So, did the higher ups care?
Yeah, but Jerry was like he gets cold really easy. He's that whiny one in class.
They're tieflings. They don't get cold.
Except for Jerry. Fuck
But you do
Jerry.
make a valid point.
But on the bright side, Jerry popped his cherry.
Hey.
No.
Oh God.
And that's that. So what's your next move? Team? Party who doesn't have a party name?
It's one of those
30
things where I kinda
episodes
think about
into
it.
a series?
I'm gonna hold the crowbar half out of the bag now and say, it's now or wait.
Screw it, let's do it.
I honestly am surprised. I thought you'd run away for Gil. Like, it was straightened up. Like I was tempting, but didn't expect it. I'm like,
Melody, upon hearing this, is going to, upon seeing their plan, is going to skitter a little bit away, like from where they're going to do it from the door, just so that she's not immediately around them if someone comes and says, "Why are you opening that with a crowbar?"
Let's see. It's nighttime now, is it?
It is dead of night.
this is gonna end so poorly. Oh God!
Go ahead and crowbar the door if you want to crowbar the door.
So I'm gonna walk over the crowbar and kind of get it situated when I know like nobody's around or whatever. Get it situated against the door, and then I'm gonna kind of look back, and I'm almost gonna have like a pleading look on my face and be like, "You sure you don't want to wait for Gil?"
I mean, you said it. Now we'll wait.
Oh my God! The one with the 6 intelligence is coming up with plans. The one with the 8 wisdom is confronting them.
The pirate with the 8 wisdom.
Oh God, this is bad. Caven knows it's a bad idea, but he's gonna do it because you said yes. He thinks you're smart.
There's
Ollie's
gonna
just sitting
grab
there
onto
like,
the end of the crowbar.
You're gonna yank with both your strength.
Hella loud bang.
All right.
Were you assisting me? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to think of Ollie. Is to get advantage on this, would it be smarter if like he pulls the crowbar and I run and like charge the door at the same time, more or less to get like a? Is there a smart way to get an advantage?
That'll be louder.
What's the best way to get advantage without
That
being
would be
loud? 'Cause he's
Vale
quiet, so
helping
you'd
with
think-
you would not give advantage. Doing that would get advantage.
Okay, I think advantage is more important than silence. Okay, cool. So I'd be like, all right, you pull,
Aaron's face there.
I thump.
Melody is skittered away. She's watching from a distance.
From a distance. All right.
They're gonna try and
straight,
lie
straight,
about what
straight.
happened, and Melody's gonna be like, "Yeah, raw
This
strength
is what happens when you leave the fighters
with
to it.
advantage."
All right, I'm gonna throw my advantage straight trick, advantage straight strength trick. After
Cool.
this, see you guys
Another
in
I was gonna say
All right.
after the break. You know what? Roll first, Scott. Roll first.
In before double nat 1.
I was actually planning on waiting you to roll first, so. Go
Oh,
ahead.
this is the 4th.
All right, a 16. That's respectable. That's respectable. We'll see whether you'll respect these
are
two
you-
after a 5-minute break.
Oh no, yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna say you get advantage anyway because
crowbar.
crowbar.
But you know what? Loud is better.
Double advantage.
No.
We need all the help we can get.
Double
No.
advantage. See,
You know
double
what?
advantage.
Now you have a 14. Are you happy? That's what happens when you mess with it. We're back in a bit.
I don't
Are you
understand.